Yeah, thank you for the stage, Most High Yahweh. By Shem, Mashiach Yahushai. Let's go into Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. Colossians 3 and 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Shem, Mashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to the Heavenly Father Yahweh by Him. All praises to the Heavenly Father and Mashiach Yahushai. We ask, Most High, that you continue to bestow your wisdom on Israel. We thank you, Most High, for everything. Allow the rain to come down, the rain of wisdom and knowledge to come down on us. Help us to do right. Send your angels to guide us to do right, to send us to the right-hand side as much as possible. All right? So we're going to go into this all creation must worship the Father. And the first thing we're going to touch on is Colossians 1 and 15. Colossians chapter 1, verse 15. Who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature. For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him. So as we look over this scripture, it's telling us what was created. And the Most High created all things. He created the people that we see on this earth. He created the animals. He created the trees, the atmosphere. Everything that we see in front of us was created from the Most High in the invisible. And He is the image. Yahushai is the image of the invisible that came on the earth in the flesh. Let's go to 2 John. Look at 2 John. Peter, 2 John. And let's go to verse 6. The second letter of John. Second epistle of John. Verse 6. Let's start at 6. And it reads, and this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, you should walk in it. Now notice he says, this is what we heard from the beginning. Now he's not going to change it in any way as we read on. He's not going to say, okay, that was the old covenant, stop keeping it. He doesn't say that. He says in verse 7, for many deceivers are entered into the world, who confess not that Hamashiach Yahushai is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist. So he's saying that I created my son, just like I created you. I created all people. But I also created Hamashiach Yahushai from the seed of Judah to come into the earth in the flesh. Because I had sent angels before, and you didn't recognize they were angels. And you even questioned when I sent you angels. I want to go to, where's my Apocrypha? Let's go to the book of Tobit. It's chapter 5, verse 10. It says here, verse 10. Then Tobit said unto him, brother, show me of what tribe and family thou art. To whom he said, dost thou seek for a tribe or a family, or an hired man to go with thy son? Question. This is an angel, because the angel, he came in the flesh. Okay, he presented himself as a man. But the Most High had him appear. It's just like the two angels that appeared to Abraham. Right? It was three. One of them was Yahushai, but the two angels that appeared to Abraham, they came in men form. So with this particular angel that was helping Tobit bury these bodies, he says, I'll say it again, Tobit chapter 5 verse 10, it says, then Tobit said unto him, brother, show me of what tribe and family that art. Verse 11, to whom he said, dost thou seek for a tribe or a family, or a hired man to go with thy son? Then Tobit said unto him, I would know, brother, thy kindred and name. He was like, man, just tell me what tribe you from. For you to be helping me, you must be of Israel. That's how Tobit was talking to him. Verse 12, then he said, I am Azarias, the son of Ananus the great, and of thy brethren. Then Tobit said, thou art welcome, brother. be not now angry with me, because I have inquired to know thy tribe and thy family. For thou art my brother, of an honest and good stock. See that? So when he says that, he's specifically saying, I know you from one of the tribes. Okay? Now you could be from a stock, but to be a good stock, remember the Most High says in the scriptures that he made all things good that's of him. Let's go to Numbers real quick. We'll go right back to Tobit. Leviticus, Numbers. Let's go to chapter 2 of Numbers. Most High, when he talks about kindred and family, remember Israel back then was closer to understanding of the scriptures than what we are now. They knew the paths of righteousness. Let's go to Numbers chapter 2, verse 1. And the Most High spoke unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Every man of the children of Israel shall pitch by his own standard. That's your stock. With the ensign of their father's house. That's why it says, who's your father? Who's your family? Far off about the tabernacle of the congregation shall they pitch. And on the east side toward the rising of the sun shall they of the standard of the camp of Judah pitch. So all the families of Judah, all the stock of Judah is going to pitch throughout their armies. And Nashon, the son of Amminadab, shall be captain of the children of Judah. So he's assigning captains over the tribes. Verse 4. And his hosts, and those that were numbered of them were 314,600. And those that do pitch next unto him shall be the tribe of Issachar. See that? So he's going into the stocks. Let's go back to Tobit. That was the precept. Tobit chapter 5, verse 13. Then Tobit said, Thou art welcome, brother. Be not now angry with me, because I have inquired to know thy tribe and thy family. For thou art my brother, of an honest and good stock. Honest and good stock. I mean, you're going to keep the laws and be honest. You're going to tell me right from wrong. For I know Ananias and Jonathan, sons of that great Samias, as we went together to Jerusalem to worship. See that? That's zeroing out everybody, all nations, is zeroing them out. They're not a part of the tribes of Israel. Because 3 times in a year, we're supposed to go to the mainland. We're supposed to go to the soil of Jerusalem before the temple of the Most High and worship him. Not worship the temple, but worship the Most High. And it says, and offered the firstborn. Offering the firstborn doesn't mean to sacrifice him. It means that the Most High said that he would choose the firstborn of everyone's seed. Right? He would be that standard for the rest of the children. He would be the firstborn. Most High takes firstborn son very serious. And offered the firstborn and the tenths of the fruits. And they were not seduced with the error of our brethren. My brother, thou art of a good stock. But tell me, what wages shall I give you? Wilt thou a drachm a day? That's money. And things necessary as to mine own son? Yea, moreover, if he return safe, I will add something to thy wages. So they were well pleased. Then said he to Tobias, Prepare thyself for the journey. And the Most High send you a good journey. And when the son had prepared all these things for the journey, his father said, Go thou with this man and the Most High, which dwelleth in heaven, prosper your journey. That's how you're supposed to send your children and your family off. You know, in God's speed, the Most High speed. And the angel of the Most High keep your company. So they went forth both, and the young man's dog with them. This man, he had a dog. We had dogs. See, you don't read about that nowhere else in the scriptures. But the Israelites also had dogs. They were unclean to eat, but not unclean to have around. You know, dogs bark. They signal when things come around. So we did have dogs. That's why I was talking last week about the animals. You know, the animals are very important. We treated our animals a certain way. Okay? And you can see more about how we're supposed to treat each other's animals in the book of Deuteronomy with the law. There's certain ways that we responded to animals. Even a pigeon or a mother of a bird sitting on, let's go there. I'm sitting here talking. Let's go there, because that's the end of what I wanted to bring out in Tobit. We might as well, I mean, this is a Sabbath day. Let's go over a law real quick about the animals. Let's go over it. Actually, it's Deuteronomy 22. Deuteronomy 22. Let's start at verse 1. We'll read down to verse 8. All right. We got to go over some laws when we're teaching. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 1. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. And if thy brother be not near unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house. And it shall be with you until thy brother seek after it. So you're supposed to, if you see your brother's cattle, dog, cat, anything wandering off, and you can't find your brother, you got to keep that pet until that brother shows up or looking for it. Until thy brother seek after it. And thou shalt restore it to him again. And this is with the other nations too. They lose animals. You're supposed to hold on to those animals. Right? You're supposed to help them. Okay? It's just Israel showing the goodness of the Most High. You understand? We're supposed to be, our wisdom is supposed to exceed all other nations. You got to understand that. We're not some thugs in the truth. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be exemplified over all other nations. The ultimate judges, the ultimate censors. And so this is how we have to be. Verse 3, in like manner shalt thou do with his ass, which is a donkey, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost things of thy brothers, which he hath lost, and thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself. You can't just disappear. You see your brother's animals wandering, and you just, that's such and such a dog. I'm going in the house. You can't do that, man. If you know he's out there wandering, you know he don't belong out there. Verse 4, thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way. You driving and you see your brother's ox on the side. That's how he makes his money. That's how he tills his ground so he can eat. And you driving by the ox, and now that family don't have any food because your negligence, you kept going and did not stop. That's evil. Evil as hell. And hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. See that? And so these are the things. Let's drop down to verse 6. Because the fifth one is talking about Sodom, basically. Verse 6. If a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way in any tree, or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the mother or the dam sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam or the mother with the young. Don't take the eggs and the mother. She can have more eggs. Verse 7. But thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young in thee, that it may be well with you, and that thou mayest prolong thy days. Look at that. Just like loving your mother and your father and treating them right, so you can prolong your days. It's the same thing with animals. But y'all didn't know that. There's a concern that we have to have concerning not just our people, but all the things the Most High created. We have to have some concern about it because we are the keepers of this earth. You understand? Everything that you see, even with the trees, the Native Americans and the Issachar brothers, the Aztecs, the Incas, and Mayas, they didn't just cut down all the trees when they cut down trees. They cut down one tree, two trees, and they said a little prayer to the Most High. I'm sorry I cut down this tree, but I needed to make a boat. I needed to make a canoe. And so there was a real understanding of us with the creation that the Most High created. Not that we worshipped it, but that we had an understanding of it. And so this is what we have to do even today with animals. That's why this subject is called All Creation Must Worship the Father in Sincerity and Truth. We have to understand creation, how to worship the Most High through fixing things on this earth. Verse 9. Thou shalt not sow the vineyard with divers seeds, lest the fruit thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. Okay, diverse seeds are seeds that are contaminated, or you're trying to mix seeds. You ain't supposed to soil the ground. You ain't supposed to take an orange tree and an apple tree and sow that seed together, or put it right on top of each other and water it under the ground and watch it grow and have some strange fruit. All right, that's an abomination. Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. Now, there's a reason for this. Most I ain't got to give you the explanation why you're not supposed to use an ox and an ass together. A lot of y'all don't know in the cities, but that's how you make another ass. An ox and an ass, they mate. They could create another them. An ox and an ass. They're the only two different animals that could create being with each other. No other animal could do that. Okay? But an ox and an ass can. Thou shalt not, we'll stop right there. So I hope y'all got some understanding from the animals. Okay? Let's go back to where we left off at. So we was in Tobit. We talked about how Tobit was with an angel. And let's go back to Colossians 1 and 15. I bet a lot of y'all didn't know that an ox and an ass can make another them. No, not too many people know that. They're the only animals on the planet that can do that. A dog can't mate with a cat. A cat can't mate with an owl. But an ox and an ass can. That's why he said don't have them tilling the ground together. Because their hormones get to kicking. Let's go back. Colossians chapter 1, verse 16. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. A lot of us Israelites are dealing with principalities. A lot of us Israelites are dealing with powers on this earth and thrones where we have no control. We have no control over things. We can't escape a lot of these things. All things were created by him and for him. See, when we went off by not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, the visible, the invisible, the thrones, dominions, principalities, and powers all reversed on us. We're supposed to be in control of all those things too, through Hamashiach. But all those things reversed on us. That's why we have so many problems in this world. That's why a lot of us, when we get a lot of money, we don't know how to utilize the money. A lot of us want to give money. In this world, this society has taxes just for that. You give somebody over $14,000, you're going to be taxed. It's called a gift tax. You spend $400,000 paying off somebody's house, guess what? You just crossed the lines of capital gains tax. You're going to have to pay a capital gains tax. And a lot of brothers and sisters don't know that. And they end up right back in the doghouse. And it's the reason why we don't have that understanding, because we are destroyed for our lack of knowledge. The Most High took all of our knowledge away. Even the knowledge of this land, we don't have it. Okay? Even the other nations are against us because we have broken the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. That's another reason why we don't have understanding of even their powers. Because the Most High took it. Everything reversed on us. That's why you see a lot of brothers and sisters getting with Edomites, or white men and white women, or Chinese men and Chinese women. Because they want to know how to get to that point. They want to know how to be helped. You know what I mean? Not knowing, all they have to do is keep the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, and you find your brother and sister in the truth, and the Most High bless you with it. You know? The Most High sends help through our brothers and sisters, whether we know it or not. Okay? Whether we know it or not, our brothers and sisters help us. Those who get married to smart brothers and sisters, the Most High bless that. Remember in the book of the Apocrypha, it says, in Ecclesiasticus, it talks about a wicked man's portion is a wicked woman. Well, it's the same thing with the brother that's blessed of the Most High with the blessed woman. It's the same thing. So the Most High can help you. We are here to help each other. Let's go to Romans chapter 1. Romans chapter 1. And let's go to verse 20. Romans chapter 1, verse 20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. So what is the creation? The invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. We're looking at everything around us. It was created by him. Being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and power head, so that they are without excuse. So the things that are made, even the other nations, they were created because the other nations are also in the kingdom. They're also in the spiritual world. Most High creates spirits for those other nations. See? If those other nations go against the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, if they go against the children of Israel, if they go against the 10 commandments, mainly the 10 commandments for them, what happens is they are seized to fight against us. They are seized to fight against us. Verse 21, because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as a power, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart, because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as power, because the other nations have to glorify the Father too. Remember when he took us out of our land? When the Assyrians came into our land, in 2 Kings chapter 17, when they came into our land and sent us out, the Most High sent lions on other nations because they was in our land and they ain't worshiped the Father the right way. So the Most High had the other nations seek out a Levite man, a priest, to come in and teach them the ways of the land. And so when he taught them the ways of the land, the lions ceased from coming in and devouring the other nations. And he allowed them to stay there, but they still worshiped their gods. But they kept the Sabbath days. That's why they're in our land now. They have all these other idols and gods. They have, how many religions are in Jerusalem right now? You got Islam, you got Christianity. Most High ain't want all that stuff over there. You got Judaism. That's not part of the scriptures. Judaism. That's another religion too. A lot of y'all say, oh, you guys are in Judaism. No, we keep laws, statutes, commandments, and believe in Hamashiach Yahushua. We are the sons of light. That's what we are, according to the scriptures. It says, because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as a power, neither were thankful. See, these other nations are not thankful. It's vanity for them to worship the Most High, the other nations. It hurts them to worship the Most High. But became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible power into an image made like to corruptible man. That's why you see Caesar Borgia. You see the statues all over the place. You see Mary, statue of Mary everywhere in the Catholic churches. And to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. All right, so this is what the other nations did. You have to understand that the Canaanites were big on this. When you think about the Canaanites, the other nations, who you think the Sodomites came from? The Sodomites came from Canaan. Sodom and Gomorrah, those were Canaanites. Those were Africans. They weren't Israelites. They were Africans. Now, if you go into the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, it'll tell you the difference between Ham, which the Africans came out of, and the Negroes. And it will say the Negroes are not of Ham, not of the 4 children of Ham, which were all Africans. The Negroes, we look similar, but we're not Africans. And that's in these scholastic books. So if the Negroes are not Ham, there's two other brothers that Ham had, Shem and Japheth. So we know we're not Japheth because none of us was really dwelling up north until we got chased out of our land by the Romans and the Greeks. So we would have to be Shem. And if they're not telling us who the Negroes are today, and we're lost for a lack of knowledge and lost for the understanding of who we are, guess who we are? The Israelites. It's just too many things that make sense when it comes to us being Israelites. Let's go to Genesis chapter 10 and 19. How Sodom came out of Canaan. We're going to show it right in the scriptures. These are African people. Genesis chapter 10, and let's go to verse 19. Genesis 10 and 19. It reads, "And the border of Canaanites was from Zidon, as thou comest to Gerar, unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah," that's Sodom and Gomorrah, "and Admah and Zebulun, even unto Lasha." Now remember, Lot had the opportunity to run the three other cities after Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. Here are the other cities right here. Those are the 5 cities. Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zebulun, and Lasha. Those are the 3 other cities. They ran into the mountains. They thought all these cities had been destroyed, remember? They thought them all. They thought all mankind was destroyed. That's why his daughters got him drunk and laid down with their father and had committed incest. Okay? That's where your Moab and Ammon come from. Mongoloids. Okay, let's go to, and now you know where Sodom and Gomorrah comes from. And then you have to ask yourselves, why did Lot want to go to Sodom? Why did he want to go there? Why did he want to go to the other nations when they were wicked? Why do you want to go there? Let's go to Genesis 13 and 10. I'm going to show you why. Now, you remember, the Garden of Eden was lush, right? Where Adam and Eve dwelt was a lush place. Garden of Eden. Genesis 13 and 10, it reads, "And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere before the Most High destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah." So it was well watered. It was lush. You know how you look in Africa today, you just see desert? It wasn't like that back then. It was lush. Trees, rivers, fruit, food, abundance of everything. And when Abraham gave Lot a choice, he says, okay, if you say you want to go to the right, I'll go to the left. If you want to go to the left, I'll go to the right. We'll separate and depart. Lot looked at that land, saw how lush it was, and says, okay, I'll go to the right. You go to the left where ain't nothing out there. Lot left his uncle high and dry. Abraham went in the mountains. Lot went into a lush place. Abraham was able to see the city of Sodom burning from above, remember? He saw the smoke going up. So he was in the mountains. All right, so those were the 5 cities. The 5 cities, they were watered well. All 5 of these cities were watered well. Look at Genesis 14 and 13. The book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 13. "And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abraham. And when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan." All right, Abraham went after Sodom because they were at war. Drop down to 16. "And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him, after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him in the valley of Sach, which is the king's dale." Now you remember, when Abraham went to go free Lot, there was Sodomites who had been captured too. So Abraham was like a king when he went down there and freed them. And the Sodomites looked at Abraham as a savior. So they offered him everything. And the Most High told Abraham, don't take nothing from these people because they're going to say that they made you rich. See? That's how you have to do some people, because they will take all that influence upon themselves. Oh, I helped this guy get somewhere. And that's how, if you look at rich people, that's what they do. You look at the athletes. You hear coaches say, I made him. I made this guy who he is, or the owners of these teams. Oh yeah, we gave him an opportunity. He was a diamond in the rough. We gave him an opportunity. See, they take the blame. They want to say that they did it, that they're the honorable ones. So this is the city of Sodom. So it was a lush place. It was wicked. That's why the Most High had to destroy it. When you go into Genesis chapter 18, it talks about the brimstone. Actually, it's Genesis chapter 19. It talks about how the Most High sent brimstone and fire. And all that is a similitude on how he's going to destroy this place that he created. From that day, we see that the Most High's hatred towards immorality, especially the sin of homosexuality, is serious. He can't stand it. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1. Look at Isaiah. Most High hates homosexuality. He hates it. I saw a homosexual actually maybe a transgender. I can't tell anymore. I was in San Francisco. Transgender worked for FedEx. He had better makeup on than y'all women online. His hair was better than a lot of women out there today. I said, good grief. And then I looked, I was like, is that a man or a woman? I was talking to another brother. He was like, man, that looked like a man. I was like, that scripture where it says that you will sigh and cry about the abominations in their midst? That's what I did. The dude looked at another man and winked at him while he was crossing the street, and that just disgusted me. Oh, man, it just totally disgusted me. I couldn't get that image out of my mind, him winking at the other dude. The book of Isaiah chapter 1 verse 9. The book of Isaiah chapter 1 verse 9. It reads, except the Most High of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. So the Most High didn't leave a remnant in Sodom. Who came out of Sodom? Only 3 people. Remember, Abraham pleaded with the Most High, saying, if you could save just 20, if you save just 20, can you keep the city? If you find 20 men, can you save the city? Per Lot, per my nephew Lot. They couldn't even find 10. Couldn't even find 5. 3 people escaped out of Sodom. That's how the remnant of Israel is going to escape out of this land. A very, very small remnant. And this is everything the Most High created. It's become wicked because of man's sin. Jeremiah chapter 23 verse 14. I'm on Sodom now. I didn't mean to go this way, but here I go. Let's see. Jeremiah chapter 23. Because homosexuality is raving, man. It's all over the place now. No matter where you look, there it is. It's everywhere now. And people are acting like it's normal. This is Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 14. I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem an horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. That's these pastors today. They strengthen also the hands of the evildoers, that none doeth return from his wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom. That's how the Most High look at them. He can't stand them. And the inhabitants thereof as Gomorrah. That's how the Most High is looking on our people. You can't stand it. Lamentations chapter 4. Lamentations chapter 4. The book of Lamentations chapter 4, and let's go to verse 6. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 6. For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom. He says greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom. That's horrible. Remember, the United States, the mystery Babylon, which is here, is known as spiritually known as Egypt and spiritually known as what? Sodom. This place that we're in. Most High calls this place, for him to call it Sodom, that's wickedness. And he's saying that our sin is greater than Sodom. That homosexual I saw walking across the street that winked at the other dude, that was a Jake that looked at an Edomite man that winked his eye. That's greater than Sodom, man. It says that was overthrown as in a moment, and no hand stayed on her. Most High said, I ain't even try to save nobody there. No hand stayed on her. Let's go to Jeremiah 49 and 18. Most High bringing destruction to this place. Hope y'all know that. Jeremiah 49 verse 18. I'll start at 17. Also Edom shall be a desolation. Every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. That's this place. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Most High. No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Who's dwelling here? Son of men. When he says son of man, he's talking about the Israelites. He's also talking about Yahushua came to show us, that's our title, son of man, because we've fallen from glory. We used to be called gods, but we have fallen from glory. Now we're son of men. All right, let's go to, let's find out why he said that. Let's go to Psalms. Where is that? Psalms. I think it's 82. Psalms 82. Book of Psalms, chapter 82, verse 1. The Most High standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods. He judgeth among the gods. Who do you think the gods were? It's a liturgy talking about the Israelites. How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk all on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Just like we went over in Colossians chapter 1, verse 15 and 16. How principalities, powers, thrones, dominions, how all that stuff is reversed on us. That's why he said all the powers are out of course. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Everything is in reverse now. All the curses are on us. Which was supposed, these curses that we have on us was originally for the other nations. It's supposed to be not for us. It's supposed to be for the other nations. Verse 6, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, son of men, and fall like one of the princes. That's what the Most High says. We are sons of men now. All right. Let's go back to creation. Let's go to Job, book of Job, chapter 12. Book of Job, chapter 12, and let's go to verse 7. Job chapter 12, verse 7. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach you, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell you. All you got to do is look at the animals. Look at the animal kingdom, and y'all always see 2 and 2, male and female. They'll have children. They'll raise their family. They'll take care of everybody, right? They'll be at peace. They'll have problems from here and there. Sometimes they'll get devoured, right? But the whole part of the ecosystem is that each couple is supposed to do their thing, supposed to take care of each other. They all stick together, don't they? Look at the animal world. The elephants don't hang out with the lions. Right? The hyenas don't hang out with the lions. They get what? Devoured. So it's the same thing the way the Most High created Israel. We are his chosen people of Negroid and Native American Indian descent. We are his people. Let's go to, let's see what I want to go to next. Let's read on, actually. There's more in this. Verse 8, or speak to the earth, and it shall teach you, and the fishes of the seas shall declare unto you. Who knoweth not in all these, that the hand of the Most High hath wrought this, in whose hand is the soul of every living thing, and the breath of all mankind. The Most High has created all mankind. Remember the topic, all creation must worship the Father? He created all mankind. But he created Israel for himself as a what? As a holy people. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32. Let's find out the order of things. And some people be like, well, I don't believe what you're saying. Well, it's in the scriptures. That's why you get this Bible, certain people, they can't break it down. You be like, oh, you know more than me about the Bible? Here, you break it down. Here's the Bible, here. You put it in their hands. Ask them if they can break it down. They're going to look at you like they ain't going to know where to start. They're going to just be flipping the pages over and over. While you talk to them, they still flipping. That's why I said, the Most High is dealing with his people of understanding. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. When the Most High hath divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So the children of Israel, we are the judges of the earth. We are the commanders of the earth. All the nations were set around us for us to tell them about the Most High and how to do things, how to be kind to one another, how to keep the laws of the Most High, how to, do things in their season. He set everything up around the children of Israel. Verse 9, for the Most High's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. See that? We are the lot of his inheritance. Nobody else. That's why people get so mad when we tell them we're the children of Israel. They have this ghost look on them. Eyes be bucked wide open, mouth be open. They don't know whether to go right or left. I've seen people like that dozens and dozens and dozens of times. They just look just dumbfounded. Let's go to Sirach, chapter 33. They be looking for a place to escape. You can see them backpedaling. That's what's so funny. It's like they ran into a bear or something when they run into us. Start backpedaling. Sirach chapter 33, verse 10. In the Apocrypha, which is also called Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 10. And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth. And what we just read in Deuteronomy 32 and 8, he says he separated the bounds of the children of Israel. It says all men are from Adam, but he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. See? Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 11. In much knowledge the Most High hath divided them. See that? In much knowledge he divided us. And made their ways diverse. Our ways are more diverse than all other nations. That's why they always trying to steal from us. Our thoughts, our understanding of life. They're trying to always steal from us. Verse 12. Some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them hath he sanctified. He sanctified the Levites and set near himself. But some of them hath he cursed and brought low and turned out of their places. So some of the nations he cursed. See? They're supposed to be the lowest of the low. That's why the Most High said when we broke the law, statutes, and commandments and the curses fell upon us, he says, I'm going to send you to the worst of the heathen, the most worst of the heathen of all the world. Because they're the ones who are supposed to be cursed. We're under the curse. Why do you think the world is so haywire, so messed up? Verse 13. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it as his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him to render to them as liketh him best. Good is set against evil, life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So all that's going on. That's in earth. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another. See that? So the reason why things are the way they are is because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why. Let's go back to Isaiah, and let's go to chapter 43. The book of Isaiah, chapter 43, and let's start at verse 21. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 21. This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise. But thou hast not called upon me, O Jacob, but thou hast been weary of me, O Israel. So who's supposed to be worshiping the Most High? Us, the Israelites. The wicked was created to reprove the righteous when the righteous fall, and that's what they're doing. Let's go back to the Apocrypha, and let's go back to Ecclesiasticus. Let's go to chapter 24. Ecclesiasticus chapter 24, verse 8. It reads, So the Creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me caused my tabernacle to rest, and said, Let thy dwelling be in who? In Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, and thy inheritance in Israel. He created me from the beginning, before the world, and I shall never fail. When he started creating this earth, he already knew about the children of Israel going to reign on this earth. That's why he selected Adam, and the people who were supposed to come out of Adam was supposed to be a line of professionals. Okay, there's going to be some that came out of Adam that were going to be the nations that were cursed, and there's going to be some that came out of Adam that were going to be a line of professionals, and that is the Israelites. We're the professionals of the earth. We're the experts of the earth. We're supposed to be. Okay, we're getting there. We're going to get there. Verse 10, In the holy tabernacle I served before him, and so was I established in Zion. Likewise, in the beloved city he gave me rest, and in Jerusalem was my power. And I took root in an honorable people, even in the portion of the Most High's inheritance. See, he's dealing with the children of Israel. When he said, Let us go make man, talking about our people coming together. The angels was coming down to make us. We are one, all of us. Hear, Israel, the Lord our power is one. Israel and the Most High is one. See? Let's go to Revelation. Book of Revelation, chapter 4. Book of Revelation, chapter 4, verse 11. Thou art worthy, O power, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. So that's why the Most High can't stand this world today, because his pleasure is in his people, and we are not keeping the laws, statutes, commandments like we're supposed to. That's why he's coming back with wrath to restore Israel. That's why when the disciples saw Yahushua rise from the dead, they said, Will you restore the kingdom of Israel as in the beginning? Will you restore it? He said, It's not for you to know. It's not the time. So the Most High is going to restore Israel. It's going to happen. It's just we don't know the time. We know it's close, though. We know we're at the end. And it's coming. The way this world is going, it's getting more and more wicked. You can't live without having money in this world today. It's the only way to survive. And that in itself is hard to get. You know, so, and you got to work like a slave, a Hebrew slave, to get it. With all the problems, all other problems attached to what we deal with. Let's go to Romans chapter 1. Romans chapter 1 and verse 25. Romans 1 and 25. Who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. The Most High is blessed forever. The creature is not. Why are people worshiping the creature, Caesar Borgia, and these rocks in Islam that fell from the sky? I don't understand that. How are you going to worship a cobblestone or bow down way over here to the city of Mecca where the cobblestone is and call that your temple? A rock that fell from the sky. That makes no sense. It shows how simple they are. The Most High created the moon and the sun for Israel. And they bowed down worshiping a rock. Let's go back to Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. And let's go to chapter 17. Sirach chapter 17. We're going to read 1 through 12. It says, the Most High created man of the earth and turned him into it again. All right? Once we die, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. He gave them few days and a short time, and power also over the things therein. He endued them with strength by themselves, and made them according to his image, and put the fear of man upon all flesh, and gave him dominion over beasts and fowls. That's what he told Noah. They received the use of 5 operations of the Most High. In the 6th place, he imparted them understanding, and in the 7th, speech, an interpreter of cogitations thereof. Now, in the school system, they'll tell you that you got 5 senses. In the scriptures, it tells you that you got 7 senses. When he says speech, animals can't speak, but they do speak to each other, right? Gurts and ahs and grunts. But the speech is not just talking either. The speech is 1 Corinthians chapter 14. Go there. This is the speech. First and foremost, it's the speech of the law, statutes, commandments, but this is the speech here. Let's go to verse 2, 14 and 2. For he that speaketh in an unknown tongue speaketh not unto men, but unto the Most High. For no man understandeth him. You could talk Christianity, you could talk Hinduism, you could talk Judaism. If you ain't trying to find the truth, that's the perfect speech for you. It says, howbeit in the spirit he speaketh mysteries. But he that prophesieth speaketh unto men to edification and exhortation and comfort. He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself. But he that prophesieth and edifieth the church. See that? So we edify each other. That's what the speech is, to edify. That's the 7th sense. That's why they're not going to talk about it in the school. What are we edifying? The law, statutes, commandments. They're not going to tell you the 7th sense. They're not going to tell you the 6th sense. They come up with some 6th sense because of Bruce Willis being able to see people in the dead. That's not what it is. Okay? The 6th place, he imparted them understanding. That's the 6th place. Understanding of what? How the world is created through the Most High. Verse 6, counsel and a tongue and eyes and ears and a heart gave he them to understand. With all, he filled them with the knowledge of understanding and showed them good and evil. Everybody has knowledge. Everybody has some kind of understanding. I mean, look at the things created in earth. But they don't have the edification. He set his eye upon their hearts that he might show them the greatness of his works. He gave them to glory in his marvelous acts forever, that they might declare his works with understanding. So now you see what the understanding is, declaring the Most High's works. And the elect shall praise his holy name. Why is the elect special? Because they speak edification. Beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage. He made an everlasting covenant with them and showed them his judgments. This is what the Most High is dealing with when it comes to Israel. Showing us the judgments, his prophecy, his understanding. Let's go back to Proverbs. The book of Proverbs, chapter 16. Proverbs chapter 16. And let's go to 16:4. Proverbs 16:4. The Most High hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So the Most High created even the wicked too. They're supposed to praise the Most High, but he made them for the day of evil. Remember, he put 2 and 2? Remember, he said the potter knows what he creates, some to be cursed, some to be blessed, some to be honored, some to be sanctified. So he created the evil too, to be cursed and wicked. That's why he said, who can make that crooked straight in the book of Ecclesiastes? You created it to be crooked. You see some brothers, like I was talking to brother the other day, he was saying, man, brother robbed the bank. Went into the bank with or a jewelry store with a post office shirt just to get into the building, and ended up robbing the jewelry store, and then the police showed up in seconds and shot the brother down cold, killed him. You know, I mean, that brother was crooked, and his brother said that he was that way his whole life. So some has he cursed, some has he blessed. Some to show you his strength, or to show you fear. When someone don't change, if you observing it and you in the truth, that's going to put fear in your heart that the Most High don't play. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 4. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 4. Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. You sin, you will die. That's the way this earth is set up. The Most High set this place up that way, in the invisible and the spiritual. More so on Israel, more so on us. We do something, it comes back on us quickly. Esau and the other nations do it, it don't come on them. Not the way it come on us. They can't. Why is it that the other nations can't even stand our skin? They don't even like our skin color. They get mad at us when they see us, just from our skin tone. They mark you already. As soon as you come through the door, they see your skin tone. Oh, I'm not helping him. You customer service see you coming out. Let's go help somebody else. I don't want to help them. That's wicked as hell. Off your skin? Wicked. And that goes into the curses too. So you'll be a proverb and a byword and a stop sign. Oh man. No matter how rich you are, you're going to get it. That's why a lot of athletes who are above everybody else when they're at their prime, and then when they retire or they stop playing ball, they fall back to earth and they see how people really treat them. People forget about who they are, their names and everything. They see them and walk right past them. And they can't deal with it. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 5. But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, and hath not eaten up the mountains, neither hath lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, neither hath defiled his neighbor's wife, neither hath come near to a mistress woman, going over all the laws right now, and hath not oppressed any, but hath restored to the debtor his pledge, hath spoiled none by violence, hath given his bread to the hungry, and have covered the naked with a garment. Man, Most High, he's stressing all these laws. He that have not given forth up on usury, look at that, neither have taken any increase, that hath withdrawn his hand from iniquity, hath executed true judgment between man and man. See that? You got to be sensible to everything. Have walked in my statutes, and have kept my judgments, to deal truly. He is just. He shall surely live, saith the Most High, thy power. If he beget a son that is a robber, a shedder of blood, like that brother we talked about, and that doeth the like to any one of these things, and that doeth not of these duties, but even hath eaten up the mountains, and defiled his neighbor's wife, hath oppressed the poor and needy, hath spoiled by violence, have not restored the pledge, and hath lifted up his eyes to the idols, have committed abominations, have given forth upon usury, and have taken increase, shall he then live? Question. He shall not live. He have done all these abominations. He shall surely die. His blood, man, this is like a checkoff list for the Most High. When he's looking at your life, or these angels looking at your life, this is a checkoff list. Be sure to mark this, highlight this whole chapter. Highlight this whole chapter and put a bookmark on it so you can always look at it, because this is the elements of salvation. This is the elements of long life right here, what he's going over. Now lo, if he beget a son that seeth all his father's sins which he have done, and considereth, and do not such like, that hath not eaten up the mountains, neither hath lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, have not defiled his neighbor's wife, neither hath oppressed any, have not withholden the pledge, neither hath spoiled by violence, but hath given his bread to the hungry, and hath covered the naked with a garment, that have taken off his hand from the poor, that have not received usury nor increase, hath executed my judgments, hath walked in my statutes, he shall not die for the iniquity of his father. He shall surely live. The Most High is merciful. You just got to follow his rules. These are his rules. Let's go to 19. Let's read down to 19. As for his father, because he cruelly oppressed, spoiled his brother by violence, and did that which is not good among his people, lo, even he shall die in his iniquity. Yet say ye, why? Doth not the son hear the iniquity of the father? When the son hath done that which is lawful and right, and hath kept all my statutes, and have done them, he shall surely live. The Most High said, look, you're going to live. All you got to do is just observe the things around you, see that it is wrong, and follow my law, statutes, commandments. This is what these men worshipers are supposed to do. Worship the Father. And the church, why don't they read this in the church? This is another chapter they don't read. They got these implorable, famous speeches in the churches on Sundays. Why don't they go over this? Let's go to Psalms 95. And then the Son of Man, Hamashiach Yahushua, tell you the two greatest commandments. You to love the Father and love your brother, which is the same thing we just read. Psalms chapter 95, verse 6. Psalms 95, verse 6. And people hear what Yahushua said, but they don't know what Yahushua is saying. He's saying that, but they don't know that. They don't know usury and all those things are killing them. They don't know that. They don't know the five covenants of law. They don't know it. Dietary, right? The sacrificial is gone. Dietary, the keeping the feast days, right? They don't know they're supposed to do all those things. Judgmental laws are gone. You got to keep all these things. Let's go to Psalms 95, verse 6. Oh, come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Most High, our Maker. That's important, for he is our power, and we are the people of his pasture and the sheep of his hand. Today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your heart, as in the provocation, as in the day of temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my work. 40 years long was I grieved with this generation, and said, it is a people that do err in their heart, and they have not known my ways. This is what's going on today. They do not know the Most High's ways. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 28. Isaiah 40 and 28. The book of Isaiah chapter 40, verse 28. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting power, the Most High of hosts, the Creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is he weary? There is no searching of his understanding. When it says he fainteth not, neither is he weary, the Most High ain't got, in the scriptures where it talks about he remembered Noah when he was on the water for 40 days and 40 nights. He remembered him. Most High never fainted. He just backed up. He got other things to do. He never fainteth. He never slumbereth. He never sleepeth. I've heard people say that the Most High sleeps, that he's not paying attention down here what's going on earth. Most High don't slumber. In the book of Psalms, it talks about that the Most High never slumbers. He don't sleep on his people. He wide awake. He don't have to sleep. But when he gets mad, you have to pray to him so he can remember you. That's the secret in the power of prayer. So the Most High can remember you. He already knows what you want, but he wants to see you pray to him so he can remember you. It's not that he don't remember you. It's just that you ain't serious about being sincere. He don't have to do what you ask him to do. You just want to stay in his grace. Let's go to Psalms 104. Oh, here it is right here. I'm sorry. While we're on our way to Psalms 104, I saw Psalms 121. I just flipped right to it. Psalms 121 and 4. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. I just happened to turn right to it, so I just wanted to read it. He don't sleep on us. Psalms 104, verse 24. And it reads, O my power, how manifold are thy works! In wisdom hast thou made them all? The earth is full of thy riches. He made everything. Everything. He took his time to intricately make everything on this earth. All these little small ecosystems and these large ecosystems work together. Let's go to 1 Timothy. Book of Timothy. Timothy is a beautiful book too. Or letter. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 4. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 4. For every creature of the Most High is good, and nothing to be refused, if it be received with thanksgiving. See that? Not Thanksgiving, the feast day that this wicked place keep, but to be received by the Most High, like Abel went to the Father, sacrificed his best to the Father. All the things like that are of thanksgiving. Good things that you work for. For it is sanctified by the word of the Most High and prayer. If thou put the brethren in remembrance of these things, thou shalt be a good minister of the Most High. Just like the Most High has to remember us, we have to remember his laws. Nourished up in the words of faith and of good doctrine, whereunto thou hast attained. All right, so when he says good doctrine, for example, you hear some brothers out there saying, man, don't ever get married again. I ain't getting married again. Well, don't damn somebody else for not getting married again. The Most High says marriage is honorable. So there's a scripture also that talks about a false doctrine if men talk about forbidding men to marry. Okay? That's false doctrine. That's why you have to understand the scripture. He said marriage is honorable. Why does he say marriage is honorable? Because you're supposed to multiply too. And if you don't multiply because you can't, that's understandable too. But the whole point is to multiply. The Most High is all about making more of us to worship him. He wants more worshipers. So you have to be in good doctrine. And I gave that as examples. There's several other examples. Okay, Christianity brings false doctrine when they say 3 wise men came to Jerusalem to follow the baby Jesus. 3 wise men. But when you read the scriptures, it talk about that there was many wise men that came. It was so great as so many wise men came through Jerusalem that it woke up the king. Because they was on horseback riding through. Many wise men came through. Herod couldn't believe it. Let's go to the precept, Matthew chapter 19. Find out what's good. Some of y'all may not know what's good. Everything ain't good. You're like, oh, he's a good brother. You know, I mean, we say that out of tradition, out of saying that hearing other people, but there's no one good. Matthew chapter 19, verse 16. Behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? Yahushua said, Why you call me good? There is none good but one, that is the Most High. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. Even he talking about keeping the commandments. If you want something good, keep the commandments. That's what's good. So whenever you see good in the Bible, like offer up a good Thanksgiving, now you know what it is. Keeping the commandments. So that's what it means in 1 Timothy 4:4. Let's go to Romans 7. Romans 7, verse 12. The book of Romans chapter 7, verse 12, it reads, Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good. See that? So the commandment is holy, and the law is holy, and it is good. So now you know, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon and the Apocrypha. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1. Love righteousness. Ye that be judges of the earth, think of the Most High with a good heart, and in simplicity of heart seek him. Now you know what good is. So when Israel rules in the kingdom of the Most High Yahweh by Shem HaMashiach Yahushai, Jacob will be good. Okay? The kingdom will be good because we are ruling with the commandments of the Most High. We'll be remembered. We won't be put to death. We'll be remembered. So you have to remember our forefathers. You know, they were at peace with all men because they were trying to get a good blessing from the Father because he created all things. So we have to see through all the wickedness that's going on the earth. We have to see through it, but we have to understand it. We have to understand it too. Let's go to Esther chapter 16. Book of Esther. And that's in the Apocrypha. Apocrypha. Esther chapter 16. Esther chapter 16. And let's go to verse 10. And this is talking about the Macedonian, like Alexander the Greek, the Macedonian, the Edomite. It reads, For Haman, a Macedonian, who's an Edomite, you can read that in 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1 through 6. Alexander the Greek was a Macedonian. For Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Amadatha, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood, and far distant from our goodness. Whose goodness? The Israelites. See that? It says far distant from our goodness. And as a stranger received of us. See? We never received the stranger, Haman, because we remembered his forefather and what they did to us. They brought war on us. They brought war on us during the time of Saul, and they brought war on us when we was in the wilderness. Verse 11. Had so far forth obtained the favor that we show toward every nation. See, we showed a certain favor towards every nation, as that he was called our father, and was continually honored of all men as the next person unto the king. But he, not bearing his great dignity, went about to deprive us of our kingdom and life. See? So how did Haman get to the spot of being up under the king? You have to think about this, what the brothers are saying. He had to be favorable to all men just to get to be number 2 up under the king of Persia. Once he got to that, you got a lot of men in these jobs that do that too. They'll befriend you, be your friend and everything. As soon as they become a supervisor, you're like, man, what happened to him? Changed up on you. The true him comes out. He had to do what he had to do to get to that level. Once he gets to that level, bring judgment on you. Okay? That's what they was talking about. He's supposed to be a goodly man. We show favor to him. He's supposed to show favor to us. That's what it's talking about. He didn't show favor to us. He went back to his old, natural, cursed ways. His crooked ways as his fathers. That's Haman. So we have to understand that our captivity, in order to get out of this, we have to have goodliness by keeping the commandments of the Most High. Let's go to Revelation 18:4. Because when we do, this is what's going to happen for us. Y'all know this verse, Revelation 18:4. It's a way of being saved. Revelation 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. See? That's an accumulation of things. When he said remembered her iniquities. That's years of wickedness. Years. That's why he says, come out of her no matter how good you are to these people. Come out of her. This is where you're going to end up. You don't want to end up in traps and snares. We got to get you out of here. You've been keeping the laws long enough. You've had patience long enough. It's time for me to get you out of there. That's what the Most High are going to do. Just like Lot. Time to get you out of there. Let's go to Exodus chapter 1. Lot had patience. All the way up until the end. He had patience. Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin. Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls. For Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all his generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied. Why? Because they showed favor to one another. They were goodly to one another in the name of the Most High. And waxed exceedingly mighty. And the land was filled with them because they remembered the Most High. They remembered the laws that they were supposed to keep. They had laws then too. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them. What is that, wisely with them? Crafty. Crafty counsel. That's why it says, Come out of her, my people. Lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out in any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. And so get them out of the land. The Tuskegee Airmen, that was one of the reasons why the United States was afraid to let Negroes fly planes. Because he thought that they would turn the planes on the United States. That's why they were real cautious with us being in the Air Force. They didn't want us to bring down hellfire on them. So they had to go through strict regiment structure just to become Tuskegee Airmen. They weren't about to let anybody fly these planes with missiles and bombs on it. All right. Verse 11. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. So we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, and we start, just imagine of us growing in favor with the Most High, keeping the law, statutes. They will hate that. That's why he says, come out of her. You see how the truth is spreading now all over the place? And now they're trying to cut it off the internet. They don't want this to spread. They don't want us to get ourselves right. They don't want that. They're going to make it harder and harder. And the closer and the more that we speak this word, the more it affects the spirit world, where it comes back on the earth to speed up the times. So the Egyptians got worse over the children of Israel. Let's go to 1 Peter 4:19. We have to remember Egypt all the time because this is like a marker for what we went through. Like he said in Jeremiah 16, he says they will no longer speak about how they were brought out of Egypt, but they'll be speaking about how they came out of the land of the north. That's this place. We're all scattered in the north countries of this world right now, this earth. Right? We all want that citizenship in these countries. 1 Peter chapter 4:19. 1 Peter chapter 4:19. Wherefore, let them that suffer according to the will of the Most High commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing as unto a faithful Creator. See that? Oh, I'm way overdue. I'm gonna bring out 3 more verses and I'm gonna end with that. And I'm gonna shout out the last few verses I have. So let's go over 3 more and I'm just gonna tell you the last verses that I have so you can continue your studies for the day. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 2 and 10. Hebrews chapter 2 verse 10. For it became him, for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, in bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through their sufferings. Who's our captain? Yahushua. It's not somebody here on earth. We don't have any generals on earth. We don't have any captains on earth. Our captain is the Most High, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. He's given power to his son to be a captain over us. Remember he said in the book of Joshua that he is the captain of the Most High's army? That's what he told Joshua. I am the captain of the Most High's army. He's our captain. There ain't nobody else here on earth. We can't get right in these curses like that. You serious? Ain't nobody that strong to overcome all this stuff. We're bound to always make mistakes as long as we're in this sinful kingdom, even if we keep in his law, statutes, commandments. We're going to slip one of these days. It ain't going to be every day. Like a Sabbath day is a good day to remain in your house and study the scriptures and not break any laws. But as soon as the weeks get to flying and the day, you're going to break a law. Ain't nobody perfect like that. You're going to do something, and it may not be at your own will. Somebody else may make you break it. It's going to force your mind to go metal against metal where you're going to have to break. You be like, oh, man, okay. That's this kingdom that we're living in. But to repent on that and for the Most High to know that you're going metal to metal and you're going against your will, that's a blessing to be able to see it and repent off of it. Ephesians chapter 1 verse 4. Ephesians chapter 1 verse 4. According as he hath chosen us in him before the foundations of the world, that we should be holy. Remember how he set some next to him to sanctify him? And some hath he made holy, so that we are the children of Israel. Remember, the children of Israel came out of Ephesia as believers, out of Galatia as believers, children of Israel that were scattered. And without blame before him in love, without blame, we repent. Let's go to Ecclesiastes in the Bible. And let's go to chapter 12. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, and let's read verse 1. And we'll end with this verse. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1. Remember now the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw near, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. You gotta remember the Most High. All right? So we'll end with that. But like the topic of this class is all creation must worship the Father, and that's the truth. We all must worship the Father, but the Israelites have that we have a covenant with the Heavenly Father. And his inheritance is with us, pursuant to Romans 9, 1 through 6. The adoption is through us. Most High is going to bless the children of Israel to rule over this earth. And everything that happened to us is going to be reversed and happen to the Gentiles. But here are the verses that I wanted to give to you, because we're not really going to be able to go over it. This is the rest of the class. It's Acts chapter 14 and 15. The book of Acts chapter 14 and 15. Revelation chapter 18 verse 5. I repeat every verse twice. Revelation chapter 18 verse 5. And basically if Israel rules, then everything will be restored. Romans chapter 8 verse 21. Romans chapter 8 verse 21. And that's for all creation. Psalms chapter 150 verse 6. Psalms chapter 150 verse 6. The next one is Job chapter 33 verse 4. The book of Job chapter 33 verse 4. The next verse is 1 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 11. 1 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 11. And the last verse is Romans chapter 18 verse 19 through 22. Romans chapter 8, Romans chapter 8 verse 19 through 22. All right, and that's going to end the class. Are there any questions, statements, or comments? Over which one?
This is the word of the Lord of hosts. I took you from the pastures and from following the sheep to be prince over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.